so much, Dr. Jinu. So it was well composed and a talk beginning from history and facts on numbers and etc. And you have covered most of the topics that we were expecting to be discussed in this, and especially you have raised different approaches how the Kerala government has tackled the return migrants from Gulf countries as well as from other countries. And I have a few discussions or queries to be asked. Like as you said, it's in Kerala, it's now replacement migration. Like since most of the workers have gone abroad, to fill in the gap, we are getting migrants from other parts of the states. And the approach of Kerala government towards these migrants, either it is social welfare or protection, they are performing better. So right now we are having return migrants from Gulf, and also we have these migrants, more than 3 million from other states. Is there any special focus for these migrants, interstate migrants towards Kerala, or is there any difference that is made between the return migrants and this migration? Also, one more question. Recent updates from Gulf countries, they have eased their migration laws. As we can see, Qatar has raised the basic payment level, as well as they have eased the kafala system. Even the Saudi Arabia, they have made a new changes in their kafala system of recruitment, whether they have to get the sponsors to be cleared even for immigrating out. So how far we can expect these as countries now easing their migration laws, and on the other side, we are having return migrants from there. Do we expect more number of people to go back or return back to Gulf countries from Kerala?
The return, these interstate migrants, according to the government of Kerala statement, around 5 to 7 lakhs of them have, during the COVID time, they have returned to the respective states. They have not yet to return back. They have not started. Some of them have started returning back, but a large number of them have gone to different states. Number one, and we have one of the best welfare schemes for them. We have even we call them guest workers. That is the guest workers. We have a pension scheme for them. We have welfare scheme for them and everything. There are also issues with them. There are also other issues where contractors are going bad with them. That is there. But even last university exam, one of the one of the migrant workers from Bihar, their daughter got the first rank in archaeology in Peribavur Women's College. Let me put that also here. So interstate migrants, we don't know how it's going to turn to be. We hope that they will return back, but that is not going to affect in a large numbers about the Gulf migrants who have returned, because it will take some time for the Gulf migrants to reintegrate and get into these jobs. It is a challenge actually. So right now it's in a flex. We don't have many interstate migrants at the moment. Some of them, there is a minority, some of them have started returning back. As far as the kafala system is concerned in the Gulf countries, see, along with the COVID-19, there was also some kind of an anti-immigrant sentiment in the Gulf. There was also an anti-immigrant, anti-expatriate sort of a rhetoric, and even in the writings, and even in the blogs, even among the locals, there was some kind of a sentiments against the anti-immigrant sentiments which was in the Gulf. But the kafala system easing, I don't know, because Kuwait, during this COVID time, has come out with a quota system. A quota system for the countries, because they want to reduce the number of migrants which are working in the country. But I want to tell you one thing. During this COVID-19, it has become a disposable migrant. That was the term many have used. The South Asian migrants have become disposable migrants. What is disposable migrants? Disposable migrants, when you dispose something, thinking that you can get it back again. That is why you dispose something, disposable glass, because that is so cheap. You throw that, so you will get it back. So therefore, they are expecting that any day the South Asian migrants will go back, even if still they continue the kafala system. But the kafala system so far is, I don't know how. There are some kind of easing of the restrictions in many Gulf countries. It's a welcoming path, and I welcome that. But we don't know how far it is going to be successful for them, because they always want to control the migrants. So keeping that in mind, so how far they can water down these rules, it's a big question.
Yes, sir. Professor Joseph Kishishian, do you have any comments to say?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Very comprehensive presentation, very informative, Dr. Oomen. Thank you. Now, of course, we all know that the fate of the migrant workers from Southwest Asia into the Gulf region is a very difficult one, but it has both positive sides and negative sides. You've touched on both. There is a lot of financial rewards that come to both India and to Kerala, of course, but also there are lots of negative consequences, not only because of poor conditions, health-wise, housing-wise, even in social activities. However, since you focused on the COVID-19 disease that is now spreading all around the region, shouldn't we also give credit to some of these governments that are not just only vaccinating their own populations, but also extending the vaccination to a lot of expatriate workers, migrant workers throughout the region? I'm thinking in particular of the UAE, that has already vaccinated nearly 450,000 people, and it's accelerating very quickly. Perhaps more than 450. I'm thinking of 450 in Dubai only. If you take the entire country, it has already crossed the 1 million mark. Now, we all know that the entire population of the UAE is probably less than 1 million in terms of citizens. The rest are all foreign workers and expatriate workers. So therefore, my question to you is the following. This COVID-19 disease, doesn't this require the kind of cooperation between your government in Kerala, the local government, and the authorities in the Gulf to make sure that as many of these migrant workers as possible are vaccinated as quickly as possible? It's not just a question of only complaining about the fact that there are serious health issues. There are, and we all are aware of them. But what can be done to accelerate the vaccination of as many people as possible, as quickly as possible? What is your take on that, please?
Well, Professor Dr. Joseph, I don't have an answer for that. And the UAE and there are other Gulf countries which are, sort of helping the migrants and also providing them with vaccine and also medical other facilities there. But their health infrastructure and medical infrastructure, it has some limitations. Therefore, we can't expect, major great things from the Gulf, because the government of India had to dispatch some medical team to Kuwait and other places. So what is here between the governments, which you have mentioned, that I quickly mentioned that at the moment, what we need is an international migration governance system. That means both the sending countries and the receiving countries have to come in term with a system where there should be a respect for migrants, access to health, and migrants' liberty. In even is access to basic amenities in a city. So this is still it's very much debatable. There is something called Global Compact for Migration, which has been signed by more than 100 countries, an informal UN resolution which has been signed, a non-binding resolution. But still, a migrant governance is needed. Even for India, Immigration Bill 2019 is yet to be passed. It's still there. But in smaller countries like understanding much better than other countries. So therefore, giving vaccination, am I audible? So giving vaccination to these large number of migrants, it's going to be a Herculean task for the Gulf. I think the sending countries, like the countries of origin, should take the responsible more about that, since most of them have returned, and than the Gulf countries, because Gulf countries in that case, they should do it for the migrants who are there in the Gulf. For other migrants, the countries of origin have to take the responsibility.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Can I invite Professor Pant to share some ideas here? Professor Pant? Yeah, can I ask Gulshan ma'am to show some details here? Professor Gulshan ma'am?
Thank you, Chitra. I don't have a question, but listening to Jinu after months and months was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And can I ask Sanjay sir, Ambassador Sanjay sir here?
Hello, Chitra.
Thank you for your very important presentation and giving us all these details. And Professor Kumaraswamy has provoked me to enter the discussion. So I will enter the discussion. I just wanted to get my figures correct. When you say 8.94 lakh migrants from Kerala have come back, would I take it that 50% of Kerala expatriates from the Gulf are back? And this year, the remittances from the Gulf to Kerala would be half to about $8 billion. Firstly, that question. The second question is, this might be just spurious correlation or a coincidence, because Kerala initially had a tremendously good control over COVID and it spread in the state. And now we see Kerala as the state which has the maximum number of cases happening every day. Is there some correlation between the return of the immigrants back to Kerala and the spurt? It might not be so, but I'd be very grateful for your comment on that. And there's a third comment, that hasn't this reverse migration post-COVID been an important wake-up call that this is a very fragile connection, the connection through migration. And as we can see, there has to be a long-term perspective taken by the country as a whole, but also especially Kerala, which has so many migrants abroad. We can see that there will be a slowdown in the global economy and a foreseeable lack of dependence on fossil fuels. Should we prepare for that future, especially with respect to migration, and what would Kerala be doing for that? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Out of 22.1 lakhs, or let's say around 23 lakhs, around 9 lakhs have returned, and that is the reality. So roughly around 40 to 45% have returned, because that is, those who are returned are semi-skilled laborers. Those who returned are some portion of the non-skilled labor. So this is what is roughly people have returned. And also among the people who have returned, also people who are the professionals, because many of the companies, they have reduced the salaries, and the major sectors which are affected are construction, hospitality, then the entertainment sectors, and these are even the care, even the care industry. Many of the domestic workers, they have to return. The women, they have to return back. So this is actually the correct data which I presented to you. The second about the COVID-19 spread and in Kerala and the Gulf connections, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that is the reason that many will blame for the Gulf returnees that they are brought there because of them. These COVID-19 it got that spread of the COVID because of them. I don't think so. There are many other factors. There were festivals. There were local government elections. There are many issues with related to that. I don't think that a migrant could be blamed for that. Then, as far as the reverse migration, whether they will return back, many of the experts are predicting new corridors will open. New migrant corridors will open in the future. But I don't believe, I am not able to comprehend that. They say Africa, East Asia, these are the places, new migrant destinations will open up. And also the Gulf will eventually, maybe the Gulf will eventually, will be all right and the migrants may go back. But the new migratory corridors opening and the Kerala migrants, returning back to these places, I am very skeptical about that.
Yes. Ma'am, Samina, ma'am, do you have any queries?
Yeah, thank you, Chitra.
Yes.
Thank you, Jinu, for that, for those figures. They're very valuable at this point in time. I was just thinking that you had very rightly pointed out that the migration from the Gulf to the Gulf had been transitory and circular, and it has always been like that. So, has there been any systematic approach in integrating these migrants into the Kerala economy till now? And regarding the approaches that you said to integrate the returnees post-COVID, one you have highlighted about the loans. In this time when the economy is really not doing well, do you really think these loans would be really helpful in providing them productive opportunities for integration, or a more participatory approach, public-private partnership kind of a thing in which the government invests and then utilizes this capital and labor and then take it forward? Because just spending loan only increases the NPA of banks and without much to this end. Thank you so much.
Yes, Samina, you are right in that way. See, what we are planning, we also have some self-help groups in Kerala, which are very successful, like Kudumbashree. And there is also a cooperative labor society called Uralangal. That is precisely for the laborers. It's a cooperative society. These are some of the models which actually, the in Kerala people are thinking about it, and these kind of models can actually help the migrants. 2018, the data says around 10 lakhs migrants, were part of the Kerala society. Around 10 lakhs. There is a Kerala Welfare Board. I'll give you a small data. The Kerala Welfare Board, if a migrant is registered in the Kerala Welfare Board, if a returnee or somebody who is working in the Gulf, after 60 they will get a pension. So far, only 6 lakhs have registered in that welfare board, because there are many schemes from the welfare board also. So therefore, reintegration and rehabilitation of migrant is not, I'm not talking in connected with COVID. The Kerala government, in the experts and the policymakers and the activists are sort of demanding for the reintegration and the rehabilitation of migrants, because since it is transitory and circulatory in nature. So far, I don't say it's a very successful model at the moment, but the COVID has, is sort of forced the government to think about it. That's the reason for the rehabilitation of the migrants, around 100 crores the Kerala government has announced. So therefore, we are looking forward for the reintegration of these migrants. It's going to be a very Herculean task. What you really mentioned now, is a crippled economy, both at the destination as well as at the home countries as well as the receiving countries. So this is both sides have their own issues and problems. So that is it's a challenge, and I think that maybe after a few months, we will be able to give you a clear picture.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And May I invite Mudassir? Do you have a question here? You can discuss it.
Thank you, sir, for your very insightful presentation. I mean, it's not just the figures which you cited, but also the kind of inputs which you were able to give. I think it's for other people who are not actually have access to Kerala, the situation on the ground. I think that is something which is very insightful. My question is, and I'm taking cue from the previous question of Samina ma'am and your response also. We know that this is not a problem which will go away in a few, in short term. It's a major problem, both in terms of migrants sending countries and where migrants go. So are there any process, initiative at the level of civil society or government-led to try and discuss these issues which the migrants and returnees are facing? And is there any consultation kind of a process to try and bring all stakeholders and discuss these issues and try and figure out the long-term, both issues and any type of resolution which can come across? I mean, since you understand this subject better, if you can give some insights on.
Yeah, as far as the public debate and the civil society is concerned, Kerala, migrants have the largest number of the Pravasi organizations. If you go to the Gulf, there will be an organization based on college, alumni association, village association, district, and then you have a larger, even political parties have their own association. All sort of pressure groups are there. But somewhat like the Pravasi Bharata Divas, Kerala has a Lok Kerala Sabha. That is a statutory body representative of migrants from all different parts of the world. From each country, there are 5 or 6 migrants are part of this larger statutory body, and also the ministers, MLAs, chief secretaries, government secretaries, all part of this larger body. We had the second Lok Kerala Sabha last year in Trivandrum. First was a couple of years back. So there is already some kind of a proper system is in place to debate and discuss. Even planning board has a group to discuss about, and I was party to some of the discussion which they had. So therefore, there is a lot of pressure groups, and definitely don't think very vocal. Migrants are very vocal in Kerala, both in Kerala as well as in the Gulf. So in that way, the government is debating with them, discussing with them, and how to integrate the migrants back to Kerala. So this process is going on. And we hope there is something, because this is, as you mentioned, this is an ongoing process. We have to tackle it. We don't know where it will stop, and we have to equip for that. So the government is actually negotiating with the different stakeholders and groups.
Thank you.
That is the reason. One thing which I mentioned, in the month of July, there are going to be an online meet of Pravasis at the Panchayat level and municipal level, and where the LSGD, local self government, will coordinate that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And there is a question from Arushi P. It is, what could be done about the wage theft? Is there any legality that they can approach, or what could be done, sir, for all those problems that the return migrants have faced?
There are 2-3 things as far as the wage theft, where they have not been paid the wages, the dues, the arrears, the compensation. The government have to take it up in a larger level and negotiate with the Gulf government. It is not only for India, even Pakistan, even Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal. All these migrants are facing the same issue. Pakistan, I think at some level they have approached some governments. And in India, in the High Court, there was a court case which was been filed by the Lawyers Beyond Borders. That is the international lawyers body, and which sought for the intervention of the central government in this. One of the issues of the South Asian migrants, that is around 17 million at the moment in the Gulf. See, we don't have a larger body to negotiate. We don't have a SARC where it is so powerful, which can go and negotiate on behalf of the South Asian labor. Even when we come to the negotiations between the Gulf countries and India, the migration, it has its own limitations, because there are other issues like trade and oil and gas, and these are some things which will get priority, where the migrant issues always will take a side seat, so that back seat. This is actually a problem. So the wage theft is a big issue. There is a big campaign going on that the wages that have been taken by the employers should be returned to the migrants. So that campaign is going on. I don't know where it will reach. And I think I told you, even during the Iraqi-Kuwait war, when I interviewed around 40 migrant laborers, they also narrated the same thing way back in 1990s. This is what happened. Exactly same thing happened even now also. So there is a pattern. It is the employees, the main construction and manufacturing companies which are doing it very inhumanly. It's a reality. So I am unable to give an answer for that. But there are protests and campaigns are going on for the retrieval of the wages.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other questions from others?
I think Sumana has put a question.
Yes, Suman, are you there? Oh, it's a comment. Thank you, Oommen sir, for such a comprehensive explanation of the migration situation. It was not only extremely informative, but also very insightful. Thank you, Suman. And do we have any other comments or questions?
Can I ask in that case?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Welcome, sir.
It's a delightful, my friend. I have a question, because you're talking a cycler migration pattern and everything. And given the dependency of Kerala economy on the migration, it's almost like a rentier model, in the sense that it's a flow of money without any active involvement on the part of the state, except facilitating the migration. The actual work is done by the migrants. Are you using COVID as a warning? Are you looking at a possibility that is Kerala will have to prepare for a situation where you will not have inflow of migrants, or you will not be able to find alternative corridor? Simply put, are you financially ready to run the state without Gulf remittance?
Can I answer?
Yes.
So it is not possible for us at the moment to run the state, without this large number of remittances, volume of remittances which you are getting, because that's the reason the COVID-19 moment these issues happened, because the economy, badly affected, and the government has announced the salary challenge. That means all the employees have contributed, their 1 month salary to the government. That was a compulsory, and everybody has contributed it. So a Kerala economy without remittances, without the out migration, without the support of the migrants, how it going to be? It is a $1 billion question. I don't have an answer for it right now, because a large number of not only Keralites, even people around 89% of the total migrants are in the Gulf. The rest 11% are in other different parts of the world: New Zealand, Australia, Europe, America, London, and all these places. But as Professor Kumaraswamy sir has pointed out, whether the government, whether the state is ready to take that challenge, state is not yet ready to take the challenge. That's the reason this re-migration, the whole question of sending them back, upskilling the migrants, because this is not an industrial state. Kerala is not an industrial state, and we hardly have any kind of industry or any kind of employment opportunity for this to give to these migrants. So it is going to be a very big challenge for us if the situation continues like this, because it's around 19%. Last year it was around 19% of the state GDP was part of the remittances. Now it will come down to around maybe 12-13%. So, sir, it is a challenge. We are not. We don't have an answer for that at the moment.
Yes, thank you, sir. And we have one more question by Smriti Ramu. What is the immediate and long-term impact on Kerala economy with the return of migrants, considering that public finances is running thin?
Say again.
Yeah, what is the immediate and long-term impact on Kerala economy with the return of migrants, considering that public finances is running thin?
Yeah, it is as far as the Kerala economy is concerned, the return of the migrants and the reduction of the remittances is going to be a challenge. At the moment, that's what I said. I mean, the real impact of these issues is going to be revealed to us maybe in another few months, because at the moment people are sort of settling back at home, and these things are happening. But I can tell you one thing: even the construction sector, real estate, investment, savings, all these have been badly affected at the moment in Kerala. These are the major economic activities, development activities. All these developmental activities have been badly affected at the moment because of this COVID-19 pandemic, and because of the return of the migrants. So the economy is definitely going to have a bad effect because of the return of the migrants, and 100% sure, because it will take some time for the not only in Kerala, but Kerala definitely it will take some time for us to recover.
Thank you, sir. If at all any more questions, I would like to thank Dr. Ginu Sagaria Woman for this extensive and very informative talk, touching up all the spheres of this Kerala return migration, as well as what is happening within the Kerala state and how it has promoted or how it has supported the return migrants by changing or by investing more on the rehabilitation process, etc. So we would hope, since the lockdown has been lifted, as well as the economies are opening up and vaccines are being found out, we hope for a remigration of these returnees, as well as we can slow down the burden on Indian economy, since or as well as Kerala economy, because it is dependent mostly on the remittances. So thank you so much, Dr. Ginu sir, for this wonderful talk on return migrants to Kerala. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you
Over to
for
Kumar,
giving
sir.
this opportunity.
Okay.